I could not understand why people take revenge on each other. Even though sometimes we were a kind of people who always forgive, it always seemed that people were trying to follow me down and cheat on us. Before we get into the story, please subscribe to our channel by clicking the bell icon at the top of the page. Let's say the name of my ex-wife is Emma and she is 24 years old, while my name is Pal and I'm 26 years old. There is no doubt that it was a love marriage. As it turns out, we met at the wedding of one of my best friends, where I saw Emma, who was the sister of the bride, in the church. There was something magical about her. It was as if she had some sort of power. As soon as I saw her, I got goosebumps all over my body. In the whole party, she struck in my mind. She always appeared in front of me whenever I was trying to engage with other people. At last, during the meal, I decided to speak to her and went to her to speak. In the course of our conversation, I noticed that she was very angry by nature. Her attitude was rude as well, but I still liked her despite her rude attitude. I don't know why, there is something about her looks that drives me crazy. In talking to my friend, he said that she worked for a call center, which is what I found out when I asked about her. Later on, he invited me to his house because he was hosting a party for his family and friends at his house. That girl was one I liked a lot, and I told him as much. In his words, he said you should be careful with her because she has an extremely angry nature. In spite of this, he said best of luck to me, and I laughed when he said it. The next day at the party, we were once again able to meet each other. However, I tried to talk to her anyway, and somehow I managed to convince her, and so we ended up becoming friends as a result. Our friendship began in this way, and that's how it developed. There was no doubt in my mind that I knew how to handle her. Honestly, I was a very calm person, so I always found ways to make her feel happy and calm by finding ways through which I could make her feel good. It is not uncommon for her to bother me badly, but I still tolerate it because for me, it is just a matter of remembering her good habits and not just one. Anyway, dating a girl who is stubborn doesn't come easy to me, but I managed to do it. It was the only negative aspect of her personality that I could find. As a matter of fact, I loved her for many other valid reasons as well. As time passes, the world changes. It is hard for me to recall the moment when our friendship turned into love. In spite of this, I would like to inform you that she was a very romantic and individual girl I ever had the chance to meet. There was no girl that I had ever met before. There were two girls I knew before Emma, but they both were not worth my time. In any case, I was happy to have her as a girlfriend. As a developer, I had the opportunity to work in a game development company. Besides having a sound career, I also had a good financial situation at the time. Thus, I made the decision to propose her. In front of everyone at a party, she misbehaved very badly with me at one point while I was there. My heart breaks very badly as a result of this. It was because of this that I decided to leave her, and I did not want to look back. She had no right to say a single word to me without confirming anything to me in front of my friends as well. As far as I am concerned, I have said my goodbyes to her. There was a long period of time in which I disappeared. After she got to know that there had been a misunderstanding, she approached me and even went to my house. As I recall, I was in Massachusetts at the time for a meeting. When I returned home, she came into my office and began crying and apologizing for what she had done. That was not what I expected from her at all. It turned out that she did, but then the tears she shed sank my heart, and I decided to forgive her and propose her on the spot. It was because of my desire to marry her that I made the decision. The proposal I made to her was accepted, and after dating for 2 years, we finally got married. Her anger has always been one of my greatest fears. For a while, she became a little soft after she got married, but she did not stay that way for long. I had a great time. We had a great time and we enjoyed ourselves a lot. In my efforts to fulfill all her wishes, I was able to do so. Over time, she started behaving rudely and always complaining about me. After some time, she cursed herself and said that marriage was like a prison to her. However, I do not know for sure why she was doing all this, even though I always do whatever she tells me to do. My company once offered me the opportunity to move to Chicago as they were starting a new branch of the company there. That offer stuck with me for a long time. There was a lot of perks and a double salary offered to me as well. My intention was obviously to accept the offer, but I had to take some time to think about it and talk to Emma about it before I made my decision. I was very happy to have been able to tell Emma what happened. I was expecting that she would be very happy after hearing this story, but I was wrong. I told Emma about this good news as soon as I heard it. Also, she was happy, but then I told her to leave the job and come along with me instead. In the near future, we will be moving to Chicago in order to begin a new chapter in our lives. Although she was willing to resign, she refused to do so because she stated that she did not want to shift. However, if you want to shift there, you're free to do so, but I do not want to do so. In my opinion, it was not a simple affair as it seemed at the first glance, so I argued with her about it. I told her that it was an opportunity that would change the course of our lives forever. As a result, she became so angry and fought with me in a very harsh way. She made a very big scene this time. I was also very angry at her, and I became very upset with her. Throughout my life, I have obeyed her orders and wishes. But now, I want this golden opportunity and she is doing this to me. In the meantime, she left the house, booked an Uber, and went to her sister's house and set off there. One day before, I did not feel as angry as I did that day. On the day of her departure, I let her go and did not try to stop her. As soon as I found out that she had not gotten back, I became very concerned about her and I contacted her sister to make sure that she was okay. It was she who told me that she was here and she's okay. As I went to her and apologized for my behavior, I informed her that I was not going to take the opportunity. Anyhow, I was able to convince her and bring her home with me. She behaved again well for a few weeks after that. However, after a few days, she made a scene on her cell phone. While she was taking a shower, her cell phone was ringing continuously, so I picked it up to answer her call. It was on that issue that she fought with me. In response to my picking up her call without her permission, she argued with me. Despite the fact that I told her that it was ringing constantly, she did not listen to me once. Then I asked her, "Why are you so afraid of me? There is no doubt in my mind. I have faith in you." In anger, she said that she was not afraid of me, that in the case you had any doubts about me, then yes, I did cheat on you with an Uber driver, and that you could do whatever you like. It makes me stunned to think that what the fuck she was talking about with her actions. I asked her if she was out of her mind when I said, "Are you crazy? It's not a lie." She said, "I'm telling you the truth. In order to be my owner, you will need to know that I am not your slave and I'm not able to do anything you want. I am free to do whatever I want." Leaving the house, she drove away from my house. After sitting on the ground for nearly half an hour, I could not help but think that she had done such a thing to me. It's hard for me to figure out what to do. It blew my mind out of water. There is a moment when I wonder if perhaps it would be a lie to make me angry. I had been broken badly, and I just want to make sure that she did in fact do this to me, or if it was a lie. It was then that I decided to track that Uber driver down. It wasn't easy at all, but it was worth it in the end. Whatever the case may be, the next day she came home and did not speak to me at all. Also, I did not speak to her at all. It has been happening for a few weeks. Once I was able to catch a glimpse of her cell phone when she was in my washroom. I checked it. I checked her Uber history and scrolled through the history of the rides she has taken. According to the details and the time of the last ride, she booked to an office during the day and another one at night. It seems as if it was the same day when she fought with me and went to her sister's house. All the details were taken down by me. I called the driver as soon as possible. As soon as he picked up the phone, I told him to meet me because I have good offers for him to consider. It was decided where the meeting would take place, and I went to meet him at that location. In exchange for the truth, I was willing to pay him $1,000 if he would reveal the truth to me. Due to the fact that he was a poor guy, he accepted the offer and asked me what I was looking for. I showed him the pictures of Emma and asked him, "Have you ever met this woman before?" He got nervous when I showed him the pictures of Emma. Then he asked me, "Why are you asking me those questions? Are you a police officer?" "No, I'm not a cop. I just want to answer the question I'm asking you." It was a yes from him. During a conversation, I asked him where he met Emma and why he met her. The driver said that she had reserved a ride for a few months ago. My answer was, "And can you tell me if we're done with it?" The answer was yes. Once again, I asked him to think twice before telling me anything. "It is done, sir. Nothing else needs to be done. As I said, I'll pay you whatever you will tell me to pay. Just let me know a number so I can pay you." For a while, he stared at me. Then he refused to do it. In response, I told him if I could predict your circumstances, I would pay you $10,000 before refusing any amount. As soon as he thought about it, he accepted the offer. As a matter of fact, he said I would take the money first. "If you want to say anything, just take your money and tell me what you want to say." He said there was a woman who booked a ride with me that night and she was disturbed a lot as a result. So I had to hold her and we slept that night. I felt my heart sink as I read this, but I was also mentally prepared for it as well. It was then that I told him that I was going to pay you more than you think you deserve. "It is unclear what you are talking about," he said. That is what I told him. I am her husband and I wanted to be able to get her back in my feet as soon as possible. In my question to him, I told him I believe you've a lot of things to tell me, due to the fact that he said I will charge you more for it. As part of our agreement, I agreed to pay him a certain amount. In addition, he told me that he wanted some amount of money in advance, so I signed a check for $5,000 and gave it to him. After our first meeting, he told that she met with him about 5 more times after that. It was always her habit to call me whenever she was stressed to meet. This time I was convinced I was going to punish her badly because she played with me, but this time it was different. My desire to punish her was very strong. As a result, I decided that I was going to use that Uber driver against her and make her life a living hell. He was instructed by me to meet her and fuck her. After telling me to call her and ask her to meet, he said that she only came to me when she was stressed as she found me to be her well-wisher. "Okay," I said, "so I'll make some scenario which will cause her stress in order to have her come to you as soon as possible." After that, I tried to do things to make her angry in order to get her attention. There was a small argument between us after 2 days that led to a fight. It was a bit violent because I had a lot of stress going on and I behaved really badly with her due to the stress. Therefore, it was quite possible that she would go to meet him on that day. However, she did not go to meet him on that day. It wasn't until after a few days that I started fighting with her to move to Chicago. In my efforts to make it even more violent, I also threw the glass against the wall and shouted in a very loud voice. The plan this time worked, and when she went to meet him the next night, it was a success. Then he called me. I told him to do what I told him to do, and then I would be at your location with a short period of time. I received a message from him informing me of his location in secret. When I reached there, I broke the door of the motel where they were both making out. When I entered the room, I clapped as I entered. As I expected, you did the same thing and I laughed as well. Is that right, Emma? My expectations were that she would be ashamed of what she had done, but she was still angry and had an attitude. So I didn't wait for another minute and informed her that everything was done and that she could take her belongings and go on. In fact, I'm going to send your belongings to your sister's house. Don't worry about it. Just stay away from me. I remember it was the day when I became independent and satisfied for the first time in my life. There was no way I ever imagined in my life that I would be faced with such a scenario in my lifetime. However, my first ever mistake was that I tolerated all the arguments she had with me. I think I should remove her as early as possible so I would not have to face all these scenarios.